Hello, Stetson. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Great. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Everyone, joining us now is quarterback Stetson Bennett, the offensive player of the game from the Orange Bowl. Stetson, we will turn it over to questions and answers here. The first question will come from Zachary Powell. Zachary?
Hey, Stetson, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Stetson, you obviously played well, past game, and then even though you all lost to Alabama the first time, what is it going to be? What is it going to be like going against their defense for the second time? And what is it looking like in practice right now in terms of prep wise, 1 week from the game?
It's the same schedule that we've been having. As to the game, what it's going to be like, I'm not sure. They're going to be a great team, just like they were the first time. And I think just the key to it is just who comes out and executes better.
Next, we'll hear from Dan Mathews. Dan?
Hey, there it is. Stetson, you seem to have a real sense of who you are. And is that something that you try to really get out there to people? And do you feel like that's what endears you to your teammates and your coaches?
I don't know. I have always kind of felt like you can't really, maybe some people can tell people what to think about, me or something. I mean, I just kind of am who I am. And, I try to be the best person I can be, football and, in life. And, I don't really know why people like me, but if that's why it is, then, so be it.
Next will be Clint Shamblin. Clint?
Stetson, Clint Shamblin, Locked On Bulldogs. One of the things that we saw against Michigan was an incredible blocking scheme on the edge that really freed guys up. What was practice like in that offensive week leading up that really made that crisp for you guys, that opened up the offense?
Yeah, I mean, first things first, we can't do anything on either side of the ball if we don't win up front. I mean, that's the start of football. It always has been. It always will be. And we knew that they had those two guys on the edge, and we knew that they were going to be coming from my head. And, Jamari and Warren and all the other guys inside, they took a challenge. They kind of, felt slighted a bit by the Joe Moore Award going to Michigan. And they knew what everybody was writing and what everybody was saying, that, they would, those two guys would ruin the game for us. And, they took it as a personal challenge, and they were focused and locked in the whole week. And they played their butts off.
Next, we'll hear from Zach Klein. Zach?
Hey, Stetson, two things. One, did you need that Michigan performance? Did you need that at all for any reinforce any, maybe 1% of 1% doubt that you might have had coming off the SEC game? And on a jokingly side, you hear from any heart surgeons out there asking for some advice?
No, I thought, like I said, after the game, I thought I played all right in the SEC championship game. I made a few mistakes that you can't do against a good team, but I also made some really good throws, good decisions, and so my main focus going into the Michigan game was cleaning up on the mistakes and, keep doing what I had been doing well. There's no personal doubt. I knew what I had to do. I felt like I needed to play that well to beat a team like Michigan because of who they are and how talented they are. But it wasn't to prove anything to me that I could play quarterback in this league. And no heart surgeon reached out, unfortunately.
Next up will be Seth Emerson. Seth?
Stetson, I think as far as your offensive skill position players around you, Zamir White is only 12th in the SEC in rushing yards, and Brock is only 9th in receiving yards. But so much of that, obviously, as you know, is that guys kind of cannibalize each other's stats because you have so many. Do you all ever go into a game with kind of a plan on, we want to get this guy X amount of touches, we want to showcase this guy X amount of times, or something along those lines to kind of spread out things?
No, we know the guys that we have on our team who we think are game changers. And so we want to get the ball in those guys' hands. But as far as like when the play starts, I throw it to who's open. I'm not, there are certain times when it's man-to-man, it's matchups. When you think you have, the matchup that you want, then you go there. But it's never we haven't gotten this guy as many touches as he needs. Maybe Monk calls a game like that. Maybe he calls a few plays like that. I'll leave that to him. But when the ball snaps for me, unless it's those specific matchups scenarios, I just read it out and I throw it to the guy I think's open. And I think that's a strength of this team on offense and defense. Our defensive scheme doesn't, like Michigan, they wide rush. They those two guys go for sacks. Us, we play more complementary defense, and I think same way on offense. Brock's obviously had, I think maybe the greatest year for a tight end in Georgia history. But like you said, Zamir doesn't have, the yardage in the SEC ranking, but we're in the national championship, So I think our guys kind of know what matters. And if we're scoring points and if we're stopping people from scoring points, doesn't really matter who's getting the credit as long as the team's doing well. And I think our guys really understand that.
Next, we'll hear from Michael Casagrande. Michael?
Yeah, how does the preparation change or vary when you're playing a team for a second time? Is it something you've ever done before, maybe at the high school level?
I guess it'll change, but watching a good bit of the previous game. But as far as the schedule and what I'm going to watch day to day, no, that's not going to change. And to answer your question, no, I've never. I don't believe played the same team twice in a season. But no, the preparation is going to be the same. The respect's going to be the same. How we go about our day to day is going to be the same. That's what's got us here, and that's what we're going to stick with.
Next will be David Hale. David?
Hey, Stetson. Thanks for doing this. You're a Georgia guy. You know the history of the program. Do you have a sense of sort of the magnitude of what this means to people in Georgia, long-suffering Georgia fans? And of course, you were there in 2017, and when Alabama sort of crushed those hopes on this stage before. Does that bear any meaning as you kind of get ready for this game? Is it sort of in the back of your mind, the history that comes with it?
Maybe I'm not capable of holding that kind of weight on my shoulders, but no, I'm just treating this as a football game. Do I know this means a lot to a lot of people? Yes. Am I trying to play some kind of savior by winning a national championship for millions of people? No, I don't think that's my job. My job is to go out there and throw completions to very talented people we have on this team. And I think it's as simple as that. So, yes, I know it means a lot to a lot of people. Is it just another game? No, I'm not silly. But, I don't think, for 20-year-old kids, you can put that kind of pressure on yourself because you might go crazy. So I'm just treating it as another game, and I'm preparing my butt off, and everybody on this team is. But the reason we're doing that is because we respect the heck out of Alabama and the team that they are. And we know we're going to have to give it our best shot to win this game.
Next will be Connor Riley. Connor.
There we go. Hey Stetson, thanks for doing this. Coaches say all the time that recruiting stars, your recruiting ranking doesn't matter when you show up. But from a player perspective, how, I guess, aware are you of that, and how, if at all, does it, factor into, hey, I should be playing earlier, or I should be playing over this guy?
Well, I can't speak to the 5 stars in the room. I wasn't one. I mean, yeah, coaches say that, but it's like, those guys are going to get every opportunity to fail before, a walk-on gets an opportunity to succeed. I put it that way. Which is, it's just business. It's, if you recruit all these 5 stars and then you play walk-ons over every single one of them, who's to say the next 5 stars not going to see that and not come here? Usually 5 stars are better than walk-ons. That's typically how it goes. But I don't know. I think our team does a good job of, our players do a good job of not really worrying about 5-star who, this and that when you walk in the door. Because, all that stuff's over. It's wiped out. I don't know who our 5 stars are from this last class. I don't know any recruiting. I know we did well, like we typically do, because our staff does a great job, but I don't know who was ranked where, because I really don't care. And I'll tell you, every single senior on this team feels the same way. So I'm sure the coaches are aware, and every single media person in the entire universe is aware. But no, the players are not aware.
Next will be Matt Baker. Matt.
Hey, Stetson, what has Coach Monken meant for your development over this year?
Tons. He's a great coach, extremely knowledgeable. There was a lot of times where I wasn't playing, so I kind of had to take that development on my own and do that stuff. But the meeting time and just listening to him talk, because he does like to talk, but just listening to him talk in the meetings, that's invaluable. Those things are, that's why he gets paid what he gets paid, is to just talk to people like us to make us better. And then obviously the play calling, but just sitting there trying to be a sponge, trying to write down everything I can write down, trying to, learn from somebody who's been in this business for 35 years at the highest level. It's been, obviously I'm a lot better than I was last year, so it's helped.
Next will be Chip Towers. Chip.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry, Stetson. Yeah, a little bit more on playing a second time. Obviously you want to play better against Alabama, but you don't know that you're going to see the same stuff that you saw from Alabama last time, but you might. Tell me about the line that you and Coach Monken and everybody are sort of tiptoeing about. Do we expect him to do this again? And we need to do this better. I'm sure that gets really down in the weeds before we all finally get to this game, right?
I'm sorry, pardon me. What is the question?
The question is how difficult is it playing somebody secondary, or do you know yet about the complications of, not knowing if they're going to be doing the same things or if they're going to do things slightly different this time?
Right. I guess are you going to outsmart yourself? Right. Are you going to overthink everything? No, we are not. Obviously, when we go out on the field, would I prefer for Alabama, if they're going to change anything up, to send us an email this week? I would love that, but I assume that they won't. So we're going to prepare with what they've put on tape. And obviously other, we're going to stick with their tendencies just the same way I do every week, and be ready to adjust. Say they come out in completely different defense, but I'd be willing to bet that they're not, because we're here in the national championship. They're not going to change up and go, all, Arkansas on us. They're not going to do that. They're going to be Alabama, and we're going to be Georgia, and we're going to see who executes better. And if there is a wrinkle come Monday night from either side, then, whoever adjusts best to that will win the football game.
All right, next will be Anthony Dasher. Anthony.
Hey, Stetson, sorry about that. Just wondering, no, Coach Mark throughout this whole season has had your back every single time. We've asked, about you. What does that mean to you to have your head coach, have your back like that?
Feels good. Obviously it's better than the other way. I guess, it feels nice, and I appreciate it from him.
All right. And our final question will be from Heather Dinich. Heather.
Stetson, you're clearly very level-headed about the big picture here, but I'm wondering if you and your family have had a time to talk about, appreciate where you have come from, where you are right now, and the opportunity that's in front of you, and what it means to you on a personal level.
No, we haven't had time to sit down and break it all down. I'm sure that'll be a long talk. But I appreciate everybody giving my story so much, attention, but, every single player on this team, even though they're more highly recruited, they all came from a little high school with no, besides, the players with the ginormous high schools, but like most of the guys on our team came from small schools in Georgia. They haven't seen the splendor of a college football national championship yet. They never had experienced that. Maybe they went to the Army All-American game, but they've been working just as hard as I have for just as long as I have. So, to answer your question, no, we haven't sat down and talked about it. But it's not like I'm the only one who has done so much for themselves because of where they started. Every single player on this team has worked hard to get to play in the national championship. And, hopefully after this season, after this game, hopefully we play well enough to beat a great Bama team. And then hopefully every single one of us can sit down and just talk about, wow, did you see how bright those lights were? That was pretty awesome. So, we'll see when that time comes.
Great. Thank you for the time today, Stetson.
Appreciate it, Brett.
In Indianapolis. All right. Joining us now is defensive back Derion Kendrick, the defensive player of the game from the Orange Bowl. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Our first question will come from Mike Griffin. Mike.
Hey, Derion, it's good to see you. Good to hear from you again. You mentioned it during your MVP acceptance speech after the Orange Bowl, Georgia taking a chance on you, or giving you a chance, I guess I should say. Can you elaborate just more on that and what that means to you and how quickly you were able to fit in this program?
I mean, everybody, if you follow football, everybody knows what happened in my situation. And I mean, being thrown into the portal and that happened. And nobody had to take a chance on me at all, but they did. And when I got here, I mean, I just fit in, just doing what I do. I just came in, put my head down and worked, and they accepted me for who I was and not for what happened in the past.
Next will be Kirk Bowles. Kirk.
Can you hear me, Derion?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Stetson just talked about the offensive line and how great they played against Michigan and how maybe the offensive line took the Joe Moore Award going to Michigan as a personal slight, took it as a challenge. It seemed like Alabama did the same thing against y'all because y'all have one of the best defenses in college football history. Did you think that served as motivation for Alabama in the first meeting with y'all? And do y'all figure to match that intensity on Monday night?
Man, you should be motivated every time you step on the field, regardless of what awards or whatever is going on. And they just they're a great team, so they came out on top last game.
Next will be Dennis Dodd. Dennis.
Yeah, I'm good. I was there for the last one.
And next we'll go to Mark Schlabach. Mark.
Derion, you guys didn't have much success against Jamison Williams the first time around. What have you got to do differently?
Man, just got to lock in, do what we normally do. Don't try to do too much, and just everybody make plays. This is top collegiate level, so everybody's going to make plays. It's about what you do the next play.
Next will be Andrea Adelson.
Hey, Derion, I'm just wondering from your experience at Clemson, if there was anything you learned or had your eyes open to that has impacted how you've been or what you've been able to do at Georgia.
I had great coaches there, and they taught me ways to be a better person, become a better football player as well. And I just took those things and just put them into myself and my game, so I can just elevate and on and off the field.
Next will be Jake Rowe. Jake.
Hey, Derion, I wanted to ask you, Coach Saban was talking about Brock Bowers earlier, called him one of the most premier players in college football. You've had a different look at him. You've had a long look at him. What do you think of Brock and what he's done for you guys' offense this year? And when did you know that he was capable of doing something like he's done this year?
Well, Brock, I see it almost every day, just giving like flashes and stuff, but he's a great player, always working, he works hard. So, I mean, when you work hard, usually good things happen in return. So I just knew like early in the season, he had a game where he had 3 touchdowns. I believe it was like UAB or something. And I just knew right there that he was going to be great.
All right. Next will be Zach Klein. Zach.
Hey, good afternoon. Kirby was talking about Bryce's ability to always keep his eyes up, and that was one of the main factors for his success the last time you met. What kind of problems does that present a corner, and your just thoughts on the challenge going against him one more time?
I mean, we just got to be disciplined. We can't try to do too much. We got to do our job, which our job is to cover the receivers and let everybody else do their job. Can't let nobody run free.
Matthew Loftus. Matthew.
Hi, Derion. Happy New Year and congratulations on making the national championship. My question is, outside of the SEC, it's apparent to a lot of people that the growth of college football is dependent on the sport breaking out of the SEC. And some people are saying we've already seen this matchup before and it's all SEC. Why do you think that a Georgia-Bama matchup, even though it's an SEC matchup, is still good for the growth of college football?
I believe it's just like it's a great matchup. Like every time we play, it's always back and forth. So I feel like everybody tuning into this game. Both great teams, great coaches, and they always have great players. So everybody just tuning in this game, and it's also SEC. Everybody believes that the SEC is the best, best conference in college football. So.
Next will be Mark Weiser. Mark?
Derion, you played in national championship games. You're a guy on the Georgia team that's beaten Alabama before. Is that something you've shared with any of your teammates, your experiences?
Everybody knows, like, my freshman year we won and whatever. And that year I was on the different side of the ball. So I wasn't really tuned into their offense. I was more likely tuned into their defense. Just like giving them keys to where we just got to stay focused, do what we got to do. Just like extra film, take care of bodies and little stuff like that.
Next will be Lane Higgins. Lane?
Hey there, Derion. This is a question that I wanted to ask you just because you do have that perspective of, being both at Georgia and then being at a different school. But does it feel like there's almost a mental block that Georgia might have towards Alabama, and that, Alabama is someone that this program always is in these absolute dogfights of games with, and then it's just, often Georgia is the one to walk away with the loss in heartbreaking fashion?
I mean, I haven't been here long enough to answer that question, so I'm not sure.
All right. Next will be Mike Griffith. Mike?
Thanks, Brett. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Hey, Derion, we haven't had a chance to talk to you all year, so I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about playing against Clemson. I know that was the opener and a long time ago, and I guess if you could just tell me what that was like going against a former team. We'll see more and more of that with guys in the portal. And then secondly, does it seem like a lifetime ago for you too, or is that game still fresh on your mind?
I feel like it was really God, just putting me in that opportunity to play in that big game at that moment. Somebody that I've been with for 3 years, great coaching staff, also people who I came in with in my recruiting class, just being able to play against them and just being on a different side, it was a blessing.
And our final question for the afternoon will be Chip Towers. Chip?
Yeah, Derion, you're obviously here as, kind of the spokesman for the defense. So just overall, obviously the last game was one that we hadn't seen the defense play like that all year and hasn't since. So can you speaking for the entire defense, what does it feel like getting another shot at this? And is it a totally different approach? You just got to be the same approach and do better this time?
Feel like same approach, but different attitude. We got to go out there and do what we do because we didn't play a good game at all on the defensive side of the ball. We got to help the offense out as well. So that's how I feel about it.
All right. We thank you for your time today, Derion, and best of luck. We'll see you in Indianapolis.
Thank you.
Again, as a reminder to everyone on the call, there will be transcripts and video posted on collegepress.com, as well as the CFP media portal later this afternoon. Thank you for joining us. We'll be circulating an updated calendar with Wednesday's schedule shortly.